Hello, and welcome to another Netflix Picks. Have you ever wondered what Grand Theft Auto would look like if it were a movie? Well, the makers of this movie sure did. Stretch is an action comedy in the vein of the Crank and Hangover series, which takes both aspects of the genre to entirely new levels. The story of the film plays out like an extended mission in GTA 5, as our main character is tasked with paying his bookie by the end of the day, forcing him to go through a series of strange and uncomfortable events in an attempt to get the money he needs. Featuring a strange cast of characters that might even be difficult to believe, this film was pretty much buried by the studios before it was even given a chance to shine. Stretch is a cult classic in the making, exhibiting some of the same charm and crude humor that made movies like Idiocracy such a huge hit on the home video market. Unfortunately, it's currently only available on DVD, and the best way to see it is actually by watching it on Netflix. The story behind the scenes is perhaps even stranger than the plot of the film, as the uncredited involvement of one particular actor may have been the main reason that the studio buried it instead of embracing it. Apparently, Chris Pine was set to star in Joe Carnahan's A-Team reimagining a few years back, and Carnahan let him off the hook so that he could star in Star Trek instead. In return for this, Carnahan asked him for a future favor, which turned out to be his role in Stretch. Needless to say, Pine's career has since skyrocketed, and the studios apparently saw his name as a selling point for this film. When Pine performed the role pro bono, SGA rules dictated that he could not be credited for the performance, which meant that his fairly important role in the film could not be used to sell it in any way, shape, or form. Ultimately, what happened behind the scenes of the film ended up convincing a bunch of stupid studio executives that there was no point in advertising and attempting to release Stretch traditionally. Instead, they elected for a video-on-demand release with minimal fanfare, and the film went pretty much unnoticed. In other words, if you're wondering how a hilarious movie starring Chris Pine, Ed Helms, Jessica Alba, Patrick Wilson, Ray Liotta, and David Hasselhoff could have flown under the radar the way Stretch did, you have only to look at the flaws of the studio system and the idiocy of the people in charge. As for director Joe Carnahan, he himself offered a money-back guarantee on Stretch, and I don't think anyone is going to take him up on that. Simply put, this movie is one of the funniest films I have seen in over a decade, and it deserves a lot more praise than it has received as of yet. If you ever wanted to see Chris Pine acting like a cross between Hunter S. Thompson and Charlie Sheen, or listen to David Hasselhoff sing his own praises in the most epic of ways, this movie is a must-see. No, seriously, drop everything you are doing and watch this movie as soon as you possibly can. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned next week for another Netflix Picks.